Imagine two doors in the same building, on the same street, in the same part of the city. Behind the first door lives someone earning $95,000 a year. Step inside and you see proof of income everywhere. A massive television fixed to the wall, a designer leather sectional, cabinets filled with small appliances that looked exciting in the store and now sit untouched. Closets packed tight with clothes, some still carrying tags. A spare room that has quietly become a storage unit for yesterday's impulses. On paper, this person is doing well, but every time they open their banking app, there's tension. Every bill matters. Every paycheck is already assigned. 2 missed deposits would turn comfort into crisis. Now walk down the hall to the second door. This apartment belongs to someone earning $52,000 a year. The space feels lighter. There's a simple couch, a normal-sized television, a kitchen stocked with tools that actually get used, a closet with clothes that rotate regularly. The extra bedroom is still a bedroom. Nothing is bursting at the seams. This person checks their bank account and feels steady. They have more than a year of expenses saved. A portion of every paycheck moves automatically into investments. Same neighborhood, almost half the income, radically different financial stability. This is not about salary. It's about the invisible connection between possessions and pressure. The first person did not make one catastrophic decision. They didn't gamble. They didn't take wild risks. They simply allowed their lifestyle to expand until it required everything they earned. The second person learned a different lesson. They discovered that reducing excess is not deprivation. It is strategy. When you remove what you don't need, you create margin, and margin is what turns income into security. Let me give you a principle that can permanently change how you see money. Everything you own charges you twice. The first charge is obvious. It's the price tag. The second charge is ongoing and usually ignored. Storage, maintenance, attention, opportunity cost. Take something simple like a piece of exercise equipment. It occupies space. Space is not free. Every square foot of your home carries a cost, whether you think about it or not. Add maintenance. Add the time spent cleaning around it. Add the mental reminder that you should probably use it more. Now add the investment growth that money could have earned elsewhere. The original price was only the entry ticket. Ownership is the subscription. This applies everywhere. A car requires fuel, insurance, registration, repairs, and depreciation. A high-end gadget requires upgrades, accessories, and replacements. Even small items accumulate hidden costs in the form of clutter and distraction. Research consistently shows that clutter increases stress hormones and reduces focus. Your environment influences your mental state whether you acknowledge it or not. When you begin calculating these secondary costs, most purchases lose their shine. This leads to the first discipline. Measure value by cost per use. Before buying anything, estimate how often you will realistically use it. Divide total cost by that number. The result is the truth. A $200 item used twice is expensive. A more expensive item used hundreds of times can be a better investment. This simple calculation eliminates the majority of impulse spending because it forces honesty. Next, apply what I call the replacement filter. Walk through your space and ask yourself a direct question. If this item disappeared today, would I spend money to get it back? Not theoretically, actually. Many things remain in our lives purely out of habit. Old hobbies, unworn clothing, gadgets that solve temporary problems. If you would not replace it, it is costing you without serving you. Removing these items reduces visual noise and frees attention. It also reinforces intentionality. Another rule, do not upgrade simply because you are bored. Functionality should determine replacement, not novelty. A phone that performs its job does not require replacement because a newer version exists. A reliable car does not need to be swapped because a neighbor bought something flashier. The culture of upgrading quietly drains long-term wealth. Over decades, replacing perfectly functional items can consume hundreds of thousands of dollars. Define failure clearly. If it works, it stays. Boredom is not a mechanical issue. Now consider friction. Behavior follows convenience. If spending is effortless and saving requires effort, spending will dominate. Reverse that equation. Automate investments so money moves before you see it. Remove stored payment details from online stores. Introduce a mandatory waiting period for non-essential purchases. Most urges fade when given time. Systems outperform willpower because systems operate even when you are tired or emotional. Awareness is a powerful tool too. Count what you own in key categories: clothing, shoes, kitchen tools. Seeing the number changes behavior. Once you know you own 40 shirts, buying number 41 feels different. Limits create clarity. You can also experiment before committing. Rent or borrow equipment tied to new interests. Enthusiasm is often temporary. Testing before buying prevents your home from becoming a museum of abandoned ambitions. There is also what I call the multiplier effect. Major purchases rarely stand alone. They trigger supporting expenses. One item leads to accessories, maintenance tools, storage solutions, and upgrades. Calculate the ecosystem before committing. Sometimes eliminating one large possession removes an entire web of ongoing costs. Perhaps the most important principle is defining enough. Without a clear definition, lifestyle expands automatically with income. More money arrives, expenses rise to match. Satisfaction never stabilizes. Decide in advance what level of housing, transportation, and comfort is sufficient. When income surpasses that threshold, direct the difference towards investments rather than upgrades. This is how optionality is built. True wealth is not measured by visible assets. It is measured by choice. The ability to leave a toxic job, to take time off, to move cities, to say no without fear. Optionality comes from the gap between what you earn and what you require. A high income with high expenses creates fragility. A moderate income with controlled expenses creates strength. Maintain this clarity through small, consistent reviews. Instead of waiting for a massive annual purge, assess regularly. Remove a few unnecessary items each week. Keep awareness active. Over time, the financial difference compounds. Lower spending increases saving. Increased saving builds security. Security reduces emotional spending. The cycle reinforces itself. The opposite cycle also exists. Overspending creates anxiety. Anxiety fuels more spending for temporary relief. That loop deepens instability. The direction you choose matters more than your salary. Minimalism in finance is not about emptiness. It is about alignment. Spend intentionally on what improves your life. Remove what does not. Direct surplus towards freedom. The apartment with the lower income and higher security is not an accident. It is the result of disciplined choices repeated consistently. The other apartment reflects unexamined expansion. Both paths are available. The difference is whether you want your money funding your future or financing storage for things that quietly own your attention. When you understand the full cost of ownership and define what enough means to you, financial peace stops being tied to income and starts being tied to clarity.